Hey everyone, Brian Von VA here, back at it again with another set of D&D stories. Today, we're going to be talking about those funny little moments that you had during a combat encounter. Something that just stuck out in your mind as a ha-ha moment or a oh boy moment. And this is actually part 2 of that. So, D&D Players of Reddit, what was the funniest combat encounter you've had? Part 2. Now make sure to tell us in the comments below what your funniest combat encounter was, because it might make it into the next video. Let's get started, shall we? My two characters were involved in a battle where one of the enemies cast Sleet Storm. One of my characters kept his balance, but the other slipped and fell. In the next round, the one that actually fell managed to get up, but the other one fell down. Next round, they reversed the situation again. The one that was down is now standing, and the one that is standing is now down. I think that went on for a round or two. It's like a slapstick comedy all over again. I love it. One session, we had gone into a quite spacious sewer system where we encountered a hydra. Hydras are huge creatures, which are 3x3x3 squares. After a few rounds, the hydra ran down one of the corridors and around a corner. We gave chase. We went around the corner, the hydra was gone, so we made a perception check. Most of us succeeded, and the DM said the hydra was standing on the ceiling of all places. Our cleric started this whole debunkle off by saying, "How is the hydra on the ceiling? How high is the tunnel?" 3 squares wide, so it's safe to assume 3 squares high. How tall is the hydra? The DM slowly realizes the predicament he had created for himself. 3x3x3 creatures, so 3 squares high. So the hydra is not on the ceiling, but is upside down, on the floor, prone? After a minute of trying to come up with something, fine. The hydra is prone. On a scale from 1 to dingus, the fight is rated a solid dingus. It shouldn't have been a difficult fight. We were in a crypt fighting skeletons and zombies with a paladin, my character, on our side. Okay, that should have been a clean sweep, baby. Everything in the room is undead. Ooh, music to my paladin's ears. There's 1 enemy spellcaster and like 4 skeletons and 3 zombies. We have a wizard, a bard, a barbarian, and my paladin. Plus an NPC rogue, although he was almost dead from being attacked by a group of shadows earlier in the dungeon, so he wasn't helping in this fight. My paladin figures, there's an undead mage. I have 1 second level smite left. Piece of cake. Lightning bolt says otherwise. Thor has spoken. Downed him in 1 hit, and it also downed the barbarian. Uh-oh. Last 2 standing are Bard, who doesn't have a single damage-dealing spell prepared, and the Wizard, who's out of spell slots. They managed to get the enemy mage down somehow, the remaining skeletons, and one of the 2 remaining zombies. The next 20 minutes saw the Wizard and the zombie chasing each other around the room, with the Wizard hitting the zombie with Firebolt and the zombie succeeding his undead fortitude save every time. By this point, my paladin is on his last failed death save. The barbarian has failed 1 and succeeded 2. And both the wizard and bard are down to 1 HP from this stupid, unkillable zombie. Ugh. Finally, the wizard ran over and stuffed a potion of healing in my paladin's mouth just before my next turn, which was good because I rolled the final death save in advance and had already failed it, and the DM knew. So if we'd gotten back to my turn without him being stabilized, my paladin would have been dead. I don't remember who finally killed the damn zombie, but by the end of the fight, our party was down to 7 HP between the 4 of us. We named the zombie Marcus as an inside joke, because every campaign our group has played in tends to have 1 NPC who defies all the odds repeatedly, and the first memorable NPC from the first campaign we ever played was named Marcus. Honorable mention to the fight where our cleric, who hadn't been involved in the dungeon fight because their character hadn't gone in with us since the player was going to be gone for a couple weeks, somehow managed to reverse pickpocket a bandit we were fighting mid-combat and replace his healing potion with a filter of love. A couple rounds later, he went to drink his healing potion and instead fell in love with our party's barbarian. Aww. Weirdest and funniest way I seen it combat ended. Alright, so normally I wouldn't think of this as funny because in the context it is more crazy than funny. My first ever campaign, I played a rogue, and we were sent to clear out an encampment of bandits. Needless to say, we mopped the floor with them, but the funniest and maybe most memorable moment was when I cut off the bandit leader's finger and tossed it, ring on his finger and all, right into another bandit's throat. Was going for an intimidation thing, but when you nat 20 on that, you tend to get a guy choking on his leader's finger and scaring the hell out of his friends because they got to watch it firsthand. Still makes me chuckle when I think about it. I was playing Vampire the Masquerade with some friends, and we had kind of stumbled into a plot by some lich vampire thing who was manipulating a megachurch into doing some ancient ritual for him, as one vampire does. The problem was, we had just been armed to the teeth by a bunch of random Texans whom we had charmed. So we took a bunch of grenades and machine guns and flamethrowers into a negotiation with some elder evil. He basically wanted to be like, "I've got what I wanted from him, kill him if you like. You're not so different, you and I, yada yada, blah blah blah, exposition." But for whatever reason, we were a bunch of insane paranoid sociopaths who had just trudged through the sewer on a corpse hunt where the corpses hunt back. Oh, the ultimate game, I see. So we get into this weird extra-dimensional layer thing, and he starts talking, and we give him approximately 30 seconds before we start to unload. We literally could not kill him, mind you, but he just kept trying to talk to us. Getting blown up, reforming, trying to talk, teleporting, getting flamethrown, trying to break the people who won't stop shooting no matter how meaningless it is, until he finally stops, casts something big to throw us all down and says, "Fine, if you want to be like that, I won't tell you how to kill your necromancer." And literally folds the plane around us to put it away and walks off through the stuff between space and time in a huff, leaving us ass out in the sewer he transported us from. Very funny. That's what you get for being murder hobos. One I remember from off the top of my head is when we were helping with the construction of a border wall between two warring nations. Our job was just to go into the woods and help collect some lumber, and our barbarian proclaimed that he was going to attempt to lift a tree out of the ground. Nat 1. We play with Nat 1s being humorous but not explicitly detrimental, and he throws out his back so bad that he's basically at a 90-degree angle. Then wolves come out of the forest, and initiative is rolled. As the cleric, I use my first opportunity to rush to the barbarian and attempt to fix his back. I figure it's not actually HP damage, so instead of a healing spell, I just go for a good old medicine check to pop him back into place. Get it? Pop his back? Pop him back? Get it? Yeah. Anyway, Nat 1, I throw my back out too. Hey doc, I went to a chiropractor and he threw my back out. So now the barbarian and the cleric are being chased around by wolves, hobbling around, bent 90 degrees, pleading for help from the others. Eventually, someone managed to medicine us with something above a 1, and we got to move on with our lives. But we're not letting the barbarian try heavy lifting anytime soon. During the second campaign I've played, 20 minutes into the first session, we wound up in a combat with a room of zombies. That's always a good start. I play an eldritch knight with unfairly good stats, lucky rolls, and the rest of the party had middling stats, so I just ran around punching and cutting everything down. The last zombie was giving our paladin a hard time. We had one of those stories already, and I'm excited to see where this one goes, until blood and teeth flew into our paladin's face. My character punched through the back of its head and out its mouth. Bonus action, unarmed strike. Group lost their shit as I kicked its corpse off my arm and proceeded to burn the corpses before the party left. Yes, every body is a threat. You burn the damn corpses. rounding up a campaign with a mixed group of players, some veterans from the AD&D days, wow, some brand new to role-playing. That had to be an interesting group. And we were taking on the big bad of the adventure. I had to take over an absent player's druid character, as otherwise the encounter would have kicked 6 colors of shit out of our undersized party. I am just above a complete novice player, so I'm struggling switching between my usual fighter character and the druid character. I feel like that dog flying a helicopter upside down in the "I have no idea what I'm doing" meme. Wild shape? This seems interesting. I see we've encountered some giant spiders in an earlier session. Giant spider it is. I crawl over the ceiling, out of range of any enemy's melee attacks, manage to dodge a crossbow bolt or 10, and proceed to use my web to wrap up the big bad. An overpowered drow. Through a series of lucky rolls, the drow was kept out of the final encounter, and his second-in-command and minions are quickly dealt with. The usual player of the druid had been rather impotent up to that point in the campaign. Through a frankly unbelievable run of poor rolls, the druid had not been able to do much in the combat and non-combat encounters. One of the few sessions that player had missed ended with his character being the toast of the party. When he came back, he was very arachnoid. Why are we ending on a dad joke? So, I just want to say before we get into the ending of this video, one thing that I do on my Twitch is actually dad jokes in Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice, so let's do this again. When he came back, he was very arachnoid. I had to. I had to. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, back at it again, checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, to subscribe, and ring that bell. Yes, do all those things in order, or you're going to be arachnoid for the rest of your lives. And all my dad jokes. That said, make sure to leave a comment down below as well, talking about your funniest encounters in combat. Doesn't matter if they're super funny or just a little bit silly and zany, we want to hear them all, and they might make it into a video. So comment down below and let us know. And if you'd like to come say hi to me, Brian Von VA, you can do so over on my Twitch or TikTok. Technically, I have a YouTube as well. You can basically check me out anywhere social media exists. In the description below, you can see my website. Come say hi, and I promise you, I'm a nice guy. Really, come say hi. That said, I try to end things on a positive note. Today is no different. I wanted to tell you guys and gals, non-binary pals, that I have a brand new kitten. I've had her, as of this recording, for at least a month and a half, maybe a little bit longer. And I haven't raised a cat from basically near birth since I was about, 15 or so. And it's been a blast. And I want you people to know that it is so amazing, so rewarding, so refreshing as an adult, because I'm 33 now, to be able to see life growing as much as I have. And it's a beautiful experience. And I truly hope that during this gross ass end of the pandemic and terrible economy, that anyone out there who's considering adopting an animal or picking one up off the streets, it doesn't matter the age, you know, if they're an old, preferably I would actually say that all of you should go after an old animal. Old cats, old dogs, ones with no eyes, ones with no ears. Because really, you could give them the last few days of their life, last few months or years, and you're giving them something beautiful, and that's going to change you. If you're feeling anxious, nervous, upset, or sad, this kind of thing might change your life forever. As long as you're prepared for it, but don't go into it thinking they're just a toy or a pet. They're going to be like a brother or sister or a daughter or son. And trust me, it is a life-changing experience. I've never been happier, even though my arms and legs look like I've been through fucking war at this point because I'm so cut up from this little shithead. But that said, I've been the happiest man ever because of that little turd nugget. So I love you all. Please find something in this world that makes you happy and just go for it. Just have fun with it. I love you. Be safe. Be happy. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.